Welcome to New Orleans Jazz National Historical Park's virtual performance series. The mission of the park is to serve the nation as a global leader in the dissemination of New Orleans jazz by enhancing and instilling a public appreciation and understanding of the origins, early history, development, and progression of this uniquely American music art form, jazz. New Orleans Jazz National Historical Park, in partnership with the French Market Corporation, brings you our St. Joseph's Day celebration featuring Mardi Gras Indians. The video opens up with interviews of Big Chief Daryl Montana and Big Chief Clarence Delco Dalcour on the stage at the New Orleans Jazz National Historical Park. The participants are flanked by the park piano, screen left, and the park drum set, screen right. The park mural, featuring famous New Orleans musicians and a contemporary brass band, set the backdrop for the interview. Following the interview, the Mardi Gras Indians, led by Big Chief Daryl Montana, give an energized performance in front of the same stage. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the Mardi Gras Indians of New Orleans.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the historic French Market District celebration of St. Joseph's Day here in New Orleans. I am Dianne Gumbo Marie, and I'm here with Big Chief Clarence Delco of the Creole Osceolas and Big Chief Daryl Montana of the Yellow Pocohontas tribe. As you all may already know, St. Joseph's Night is a celebration that was brought to us by the Sicilians, and they have huge feasts every year. There's several altars around the city to pay homage to St. Joseph, who saved them from starvation. But in addition to that, the Black Masking Indians do come out on that day, and we're going to start with Big Chief Daryl Montana. So I know that the Black Masking Indians come out on Mardi Gras Day historically and St. Joseph Night. And we know that they get into, or used to get into, scuffles sometimes on Mardi Gras Day. Why do you all come out on St. Joseph's Night?
Well, from the information that I had gotten, because if anybody knew about the tradition, normally certain tribes have they call humbug. And those tribes that may have had issues on Carnival Day or Mardi Gras, they get another opportunity to come out, I guess, to get it right. So what happens is those folks that live through Carnival or Mardi Gras, because back in the days, they would physically fight. So St. Joseph Night is really called Warriors Night Out, meaning that even though they may have had issues on Carnival or Mardi Gras Day, St. Joseph Night was centered around being peaceful. So those that lived through Carnival or Mardi Gras would come out St. Joseph Night. They would not come out with any weapons. They basically came out to meet and greet and show a lot of love to one another. But again, we've been doing that in our neighborhoods long as I've been here, and I'm almost 66 years old.
So just to clarify, though, when you say they live through Carnival, you're addressing the idea that the Indian tribes used to meet up basically to settle a score or settle a beef,
It was serious. I remember hearing a story of an uncle of mine. He would run underneath the house in his suit, and I was trying to figure out what kind of suits they were wearing in order to get up underneath the house. But again, that was how it was. Also, as a child, because I couldn't follow the Indians when I was maybe around 7 or 8. And I would hear these horror stories that my father had gotten into it with another tribe or gang. And it was kind of frightening to feel that, you know, your family member, your loved one has been in a violent act. So, again, when they come out on St. Joseph Night, those that made it through Carnival or Mardi Gras come out and they show a lot of peace and love.
Wonderful. So, Big Chief Delco, and if y'all don't know, Big Chief Delco is known around town as the Peace Chief. He also does a dove release. But why does your tribe come out on St. Joseph's Night? What is your perspective?
Well, it was I would say the last ceremony of wearing your suit. And there is things about burning of the suits. And some people understand it, some people in this day and age don't really know it because they wasn't doing it. But that's what it was really about, and you was in your neighborhood. And you basically did a lot in your neighborhood on that night than you did on Mardi Gras. Because the Mardi Gras, you was really hunting and walking. And you make so many friends that in life that you always want to go to see them. And that's what mainly the Osceolas was basically doing.
And when did you birth your tribe? Because I know you've been a masking Indian for many decades now. And so when did you birth your tribe?
Well, I followed tribes when I was young. But when I got out of Vietnam, I basically followed the yellow Pocohontas. My uncle and my dad was following the yellow Pocohontas. And I said it's about time that I do this to calm my nerves, because everybody say I had bad nerves, and I told them my nerves was better than that, you know. So it did me pleasure. And I talked to Tootie Montana one night, the night of Mardi Gras, when he was going, and it was a ball on St. Bernard Street he would stop at. And I stopped there and I asked him, I told him I'd like the mass. And he said, yeah. He always answered questions like he knew what he was answering. So I told him I'd like to come. He said, yeah, just get in touch with me. And that's what I did. And he started me. And I was with them until I started my tribe. And the reason I started my tribe, because I didn't sew like them. They sewed with basically a three-dimensional raise, and I sewed a three-dimensional flat. I sewed sheets. I didn't sew patches. All of my rails is based on long boards in a sliding chair. As I sew them, just sliding down. And that's what I did. And the first time I masked with him, I was running, and like I was a spy boy. And he said, go get Delco from up there and bring him back here. And that's what I did. And he gave me the position as trail chief. And it was on from that day. That was, 69 or 70, something like that.
Wow, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was, I was scared of him. But everything he talked to me about, he talked calmly. And that stuck with me. So that was it.
Excellent. And Daryl, I understand that Tootie Montana is your father. How did you get started?
Well, I got started. I was basically born into it. I remember at the early age of about maybe 5 or 6, how he got us involved in it. He would have us to cut the sequins and beads off a previous suit, because at that time we didn't have a lot of places to buy our materials. So what he did was he would have us to cut, like if he needed red beads or red sequins or whatever, he would have us to cut them off an old suit. And he had, at that time, they would sell the sequins and beads came in these little glass vials. And he would have us to cut them. He made a little thing called a sifter, like a rice strain. He would get a cup and put a bunch of holes in it, and all the trash that you cut off the suit would go into that cup, and you would shake it and shake it and shake it. All the beads would fall out, and the sequins and the thread would stay inside the cup. And we would take that stuff and put it in bottles, And he had a slick way of doing things. We would think that we had the bottles filled, and when he get the bottles, he take them and hit them on the table, and the bottles still have where you can put more stuff in them. And he said, that bottle not full. You still got more stuff you could put in that bottle. So that was our way of earning our allowance. And I took my money, and I knew I wanted to dress, and I started buying my own materials. And I'm talking about I was about maybe 8 or 9 years old, and the rest is history.
Wonderful. So, how do you celebrate St. Joseph's Day now? Do you actually go out and partake in the altars, or is there any crossing of cultures?
Most times when it's St. Joseph night, um, because of how you were able to wear your suit on Mardi Gras, sometimes you have little damage stuff you have to deal with. So in order to come back out for St. Joseph night, basically we use that particular day is to do all your repairs, because at 6 o'clock, between 5:30 and 6 o'clock, that's when we come back out on the street, and we might stay out for maybe 3 or 4 hours, and then that's it.
So basically, and the reason you had to shake the cup and separate the sequins and beads is because every year y'all make a new suit. Is that right, Delco?
That's correct. And suit making, from my point of view, and looking at different guys doing different things, there's so many different ways that they sew, but, I haven't changed the way I sew. That's all I know, and I'm a thinker, and I like animals. I like animals and I like designs. So liking animals, the majority of the suits that I've had has always been some type of animal. And it's a thing where it's hard to explain. You talk to a lot of people about it, and it's hard to explain, but making a suit comes from your heart. I couldn't draw, but I had a designer. And in having that designer, we was very good friends. And it was like, I dream it, he draw it, I sew it. And that's the way it was. And we'd be sitting down talking, getting drunk, and we'd come up in a manner that, what you thinking about? I'm thinking about some tigers. I just don't know how I would put them. And he'd go away for about a week, 2 weeks. He said, what you thinking about now? I said, I'm still thinking about tigers. So I had a suit, a tiger suit, and I sewed tigers on both sides. But if you loosen up the middle of the tigers, it makes, when you're walking, your suit look like the tigers is walking. So the imagination was there, and he went to the next step with it. That's basically what it is with me with that.
Very good. And Daryl, your ideas for different suits, what usually helps you generate? Because I know you've made, almost 50 suits, 48 suits.
48, I was working
Almost
on
49.
my 49th suit.
Your inspiration, because a lot of people think, the downtown, the uptown masking style is mostly flat bead work, more or less like a painting that was beaded, which is in itself difficult. But the 3D work, it takes a little bit of geometry and a lot more pieces. You might see one piece on a suit that takes in itself 5 to 15 pieces maybe. So where does your inspiration come from?
I guess it's according to where I'm at mentally. I remember back in somewhere around I want to make sure. Somewhere, well, back around the time when they had the King Tut exhibit. And this was, I think, in 1978 or 79. Because that was the thing. So I was planning on that particular year having elephants. But the thing was King Tut exhibit. So I took the elephant design away, and I wind up using King Tut's design, and that's what was in my suit. And the following year after that, I dressed in black, and I had the elephants. But, it's according to where I'm at. What I try to do is, because I stand in the shadows of my father, Big Chief Allison Tootie Montana, and that's some big shoes to fill.
And he was the one that started the whole 3D suit tradition.
He started the 3D.
And the second line fans.
The second line fans.
All the things you see
the
in
baskets,
second
all of that stuff that's made.
He started that.
Yeah, we used to have to go and buy the baskets. I think they were buying them from the French market. And we were with an associated pleasure club called the Bucket Men. So they were trying to figure out how can they get the baskets that they need. And we was at the building, and my daddy said, hell, I could make y'all baskets. So he took a piece of cardboard and he cut it, and he did what he had to do. And before you know it, there was a basket sitting there. So all the baskets that the Bucket Men would have was basically stuff that he created. And now today, 50 years later, they're still using those same kind of baskets that Chief taught him how to do.
Yeah, the reason he did some of that too was because he was a lather by trade.
Yes, in fact.
In the construction industry. So
the building down the street, the Jack's Brewery, the skin on the building, that's my daddy's work.
And the La Pavillon.
The La Pavillon Hotel, the logo on the front of the hotel, that's my daddy's work. It's all over the city.
So, and just to loop back to St. Joseph Night, your family was very religious as well, Catholic. And
yeah.
And his mother was she the one that would place the scapular every year?
My grandmother would always, because back in the days, they were physically fighting. And I never forget when my daddy first wanted to dress, because his daddy dressed as well. And when he told his mama that he wanted to be an Indian, she told him, boy, you don't want to fool with that. And before he would go out, she would always pin a scapular on his shirt, and he would have that on him from the time he leave the house until he returned.
Wow, that's awesome. And they were all baptized too
at St. Augustine Church. I'm talking about at least four generations for sure.
Yeah, so any last comments you'd like to make, Chief Delco, in honor of St. Joseph's Day or the tradition?
No, well, the tradition still goes on, and that's important. See, you got so many songs that's out that tells you who we are. And when I say go on, there's so many permits that's being laid on you today. But we don't know nothing about no permit, And one of the songs is do what you wanna, and that's what we do. And we from the neighborhood. We do it for our neighborhood. In St. Joseph, we just stick around the neighborhood, thinking about what we're gonna sow next year. It's getting so now there's so many people we have to talk to about the culture. But if you could talk to some of the people that's dead and gone, they can tell you some stuff. And I learned from people that had mass long time ago. I had to get that knowledge. But it's basically the same way. I think just the material has made us change. The material. Indians used to go to parades to see the stuff on the ground and get the stuff off the ground, broken beads and that broken was all over the ground and everything. They come home and sew it, make a pretty suit. People that are selling that stuff got what we call hip to us and start putting glue on it. You know what I'm saying? Right. Hey, they can't take this a little bit, you know. But hey, we can take so many different things in our culture and do things with it. It's in the mind. You know, I dress for my neighborhood, place called Boscoville. It's behind Dillard. And I dress for my neighborhood.
Amen. Amen. It's about community,
Yeah,
right?
I just want to say this about St. Joseph night. I think that I have more fun St. Joseph night than I have on Mardi Gras Day. Anybody that know about making these suits, a lot of times you finish the last minute, you're up all night, your energy is gone because you've been up for days, lack of sleep, not eating properly, so you don't really have the juice. But once St. Joseph night comes, you kind of get an opportunity to rejuvenate yourself. And when you come out for St. Joseph night, you really get a chance to really see and play the suit, because it's about playing the suit, and it's also about the community. Folks that may not get a chance to see you on Carnival or Mardi Gras Day, well, then they all can just come in your neighborhood and they know they're gonna see you. So I really, really enjoy St. Joseph night.
You're not rushed, you know, to do things. It's done.
I had that experience this year. I did my first suit, and it took us 10 hours to get me out the door from 5:15 in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon. And now I'm looking at all the pictures of me, and I'm noticing the threads and the things that just need to be fixed. But I am a lot more relaxed, with the idea of St. Joseph night, because I think I'll really be ready. But I completely get that. And I want to commend you both for doing this, and our other tribe members that are going to come up for doing this, because, now I really know it takes a year. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of money, time, and energy. You bleed in the suit. It's just incredible. It's an incredible piece of work. And to say y'all have done it for so long is just beyond. Hopefully I'll get through my second year. But thank y'all so much for all y'all have done for the community.
You're welcome.
For all the tribe members here too.
Yeah,
so,
I laughed.
and our helpers. So
yeah, I was laughing because now you know.
I thought I knew.
And it's kind of, to me, the making of these suits, because there's a whole lot of stuff you're dealing with. You're on a time schedule. I say it's insanity.
It really is.
It's insanity, but then when it all come together and you touch the hearts and the soul of folks that's been out there waiting to see you. And I say this all the time, that when you could do something with your hands and you can have a person to just break down and just lose it and say how gorgeous they think you are, you've done your job.
You have. And so one last question. How do you feel about people that come out and put a monetary value on something y'all have invested at least a year, because some people make suits for 2 and 3 years. People that come out now and monetize what you've done for a year with no recognition or.
That's the way it has gotten. It's we keep it old. You can't imagine the people that don't put on a suit no more than me and him put together. They were people that liked it. They were people that followed you. They knew a lot about it, and they never put on a suit. Financially, it then got us to a point. Everything sells high. everything sells high, especially if they know what you're gonna do with it. He needs it. He's gonna buy it, and that's where we at. But we sold all year long, but we do it for one night.
That is an incredible journey. But and I want to thank you all for being here,
Thank
Big
you
Chief
for having
Delco, Big Chief Daryl, and thank you all for joining our program from the historic French Market District and the National Jazz Park Service. We want to thank you all and have a really good St. Joseph night. Be safe.
We are Indians, I say, Indians. I mean, Indians of the nation, the whole wide creation. And we won't bow down. Oh, we won't bow down. Down on that ground, on that dirty ground. Oh, how I love to hear you call my Indian race. Oh, Chacamofin, Ohio, Ohio. I say, Ohio, Ohio, Ohio. I mean, Ohio, Ohio, Ohio. I say, Ohio, Ohio, Ohio. Oh, my Indian race. Oh, my Indian race. Oh, I hear them say. Oh, I kill them dead because I love to hear you call my Indian race. We are from the nation, the whole wide creation. Don't you hear me calling? Softly, softly calling. Oh, my Indian race.
Kill them dead,
Oh, I kill them dead because I love to hear you call my Indian race.
gonna take them down, gonna take them down.
Rock you way,
Whole lot my Indian,
do it, rock you way,
whole lot my Indian.
do it, rock you way,
Jumping and hollow,
do it, rock you way,
all day long now.
do it, rock you way,
Five for running,
do it, rock you way,
five for coming.
do it, rock you way,
Holding my back up,
do it, rock you way,
so up yonder.
do it, rock you
You were
way,
jumping and hollering
do it, rock you way,
early that morning.
do it, rock you
It was
way,
in time for now.
do it, rock you
Oh,
way,
in time coming.
do it, rock
It
you
was
way,
all in my moon now.
do it, rock you
It was
way,
all in my way.
do it, rock you
Oh,
way,
bad religion
do it, rock you
on the
way,
holiday.
do it, rock you
Oh,
way,
so that's too bad. From sun to sundown. Oh, jump and holler with a big shotgun now. All the way uptown. Nobody bow down. We are the Indians. Only my hand now. Oh, Indian boy now. Oh, Indian boy now. Oh, I got the gang now. Oh, nobody say now. Only my moon now. Only my moon now. Only my Indian. Only my Indian. Nah, nah.
Hey, mama. Hey, mama. Indian singing. Meet 'em on uptown. Meet 'em on back of town. Hey, Doc, come over here now. Hey, hear what I say now. 'Cause I'm not worried. 'Cause I got glory. Fire. Fire that morning. Indian singing. Tambourine ringing. Ring a ding dum dum. Let 'em come now. I make no knee line. I make no turn around. Y'all come over here now. Fire. Fire that morning. Needle and spray. Kill 'em dead now. 'Cause I told my
it. Little Liza Jane. In the morning, oh, little Liza Jane. Oh, little Liza Jane. I woke up in the morning by the ring, ring, ring. Little Liza Jane. And all I saw was the same old thing. Little Liza Jane. That morning, oh, little Liza Jane. Oh, little Liza Jane. You tell I'm a hunter by the way I look. Little Liza Jane. Got eyes like an eagle, teeth like a wolf. Little Liza Jane. That morning, oh, little Liza Jane. Oh, little Liza Jane. Make a dragonfly north, he better fly west. Little Liza Jane. He'll take your bones and make it nest. Little Liza Jane. That morning, oh, little Liza Jane. Oh, little Liza Jane. Ooh, na, na, hey, mama. Ooh, na, na, hey, mama. Ooh, na, na, ninja. Ooh, na, na, got your soul now. Ooh, na, na, won't be long. Ooh, na, na, by you. Ooh, na, na, by you that moon. Ooh, na, na, ninja, ninja. Ooh, na, na, tambourine ring eye. Ooh, na, na, ring a ding dum dum. Ooh, na, na, let 'em come down. Ooh, na, na, I make no kneel down. Ooh, na, na, make no turn around. Ooh, na, na, sing everybody. Ooh, na, na, set 'em on fire. Ooh, na, na, run 'em in the fire. Ooh, na, na, I'm not worried. Ooh, na, na, I'm not worried. Ooh, na, na, I got glory. Ooh, na, na, Indian singing now. Ooh, na, na, Indian singing. Ooh, na, na, meet 'em on. Ooh, na, na, let 'em roll. Ooh, na, na, ooh, na, na, ooh, na, na, away from the border. Ooh, na, na, Miss Young Story. Ooh, na, na, my Papa Needle. Ooh, na, na, Miss Whitey. Ooh, na, na, who broke the ladder. Ooh, na, na, Miss Fleming. Meet them on a Monday, kill them on a Sunday. Kind of. I sold all night long. I sold that morning till the break of dawn. Said the only thing ever made a man. Big Tchoupitoulas. Said we got the gang that wish they had. Don't want no trouble, don't want no bar. Said the gang of the nation gonna show 'em how. I sold all night long. Somebody got sold. I sold that morning till the break of dawn. Somebody got sold. I remember that morning, remember well. Somebody got sold. Had a gang of the nation, we raised some hell. Somebody got sold. I woke up in the morning by the ring, ring, ring. Somebody got sold. And all I saw was the damn thing. Somebody got sold. Picayune, get the story right. Somebody got sold. Put your name in the paper, put your tail on night. Somebody got sold. Say uptown, ruling downtown too. Somebody got sold. Gonna meet him that morning, give him Indian blues. Somebody got sold. Everybody know I'm not telling no lie. Somebody got sold. Represent my gang till the day I die. Somebody got sold. I walk against the table without making a track. Somebody got sold. I knocked the humps off a camel's back. Somebody got sold. Set fire on the mountain dragons in the grave. Somebody got sold. Say, Lord have mercy, let my people pay. Somebody got sold. It was raining outside, then it turned cold. Somebody got sold. Say something like a rock, but I like a roll. Somebody got sold. Got 24 pieces across my chest. Somebody got sold. I don't fear nobody, but the Lord is there. Somebody got sold. Put on my war paint, put on my boots. Somebody got sold. Come off my house, what they gonna do? Somebody got sold. Say, hey, the way how me who not know? Somebody got sold. I'll be a big old chief when I leave home. Somebody got sold. I'm pretty in the front, pretty in the back. Somebody got sold. I'm a downtown Indian, we dress like that. Somebody got sold. Say bye, let them come. Somebody got sold. Say nobody near, nobody run. Somebody got sold. Say bye, boy, coming with the gathering gun. Somebody got sold. Gonna meet everybody when the morning comes. Bow, bow. I walk the desert sand without making a track. Somebody got sold. I knocked the humps off a camel's back. Somebody got sold. Make a dragon fly north, he better fly west. Somebody got sold. He'll take your bones and make his nest. Somebody got sold. I woke up in the morning by the ring of the bell. Somebody got sold. Come out my house, I be raising hell. Somebody got sold. Say ring, 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 says fire fast. Somebody got sold. On Mardi Gras morning, he might not mad. Somebody got sold. I sold all night long. Somebody got sold. I sold that morning till the break of dawn. Somebody got sold. You can tell I'm a hunter by the way I look. Somebody got sold. Got eyes like an eagle, teeth like a wolf. Somebody got sold. Say the only thing hurt me my back inside. Somebody got sold. On Mardi Gras morning, one shuck, one jive. Somebody got sold. Say five boy coming and flag boy too. Somebody got sold. Gonna meet him that morning, give him Indian blue. Somebody got sold. All night long. I sold that morning till the break of dawn. Somebody got sold. Say load my gun and sharpen my knife. On Mardi Gras morning, gotta treat us right. Counterfeit.
That's a wrap. I would like to introduce all the participants. It's a collaboration of several tribes that came together to do this. From my right, Charles Andrews, my brother. Next to him is Marquis Tiro, Big Chief of the Trouble Nation. He's back home. He's back home with the Yellow Pocohontas. That's a good thing. Chief Undertaker. And next to him is Belden Nooniman Baptiste. Number
2 on the ballot.
Number 2 on the ballot. And to my far left, Big Chief Clarence Delco of the Creole Osceolas. And last but not, oh, you're gonna introduce me. To my next to him is Dianne Gumbo Marie Honoré, Queen, Big Queen of the Yellow Pocohontas. And somebody can introduce me.
Wait, Undertaker.
Big Chief Daryl Montana.
All right. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all.